There's something unfolding in your life right now that you sense but can't quite put into words. You've tried meditating, visualizing, repeating affirmations, maybe even scripting or tracking moon phases. You've read the books, watched the videos, kept your vibe high. Yet the shift you long for hasn't arrived, or it flickers briefly before vanishing like mist. So you push harder, you hustle, you tweak your routine, your strategy, your timing. You force the vision into being, convinced effort is the key. But what if it's not? What if trying harder is what's keeping the shift at bay? Here's what hardly anyone mentions. In the quantum realm, effort isn't power, energy is. The quantum field doesn't care about your to-do list. It responds to your signal. And that signal doesn't come from what you do. It comes from who you are as you do it, your state of being, your vibration, your coherence. That's what the field mirrors back. And that's why doing less from the right frequency creates far more than striving ever could. To grasp this, you must unlearn what the world taught you about manifestation. The 3D mindset says hustle equals success, but quantum rules say hustle often means misalignment. Why? Because aligned energy is effortless, clear, magnetic. It doesn't overcompensate, overdoing, overthinking, overplanning. These are signs your inner world hasn't matched your outer desire, and the field always reflects the inner first. Let's make this real with a story. Imagine a woman named Ava. She's deeply spiritual. She journals every morning. She does breath work. She listens to binaural beats and visualizes her dream life daily. Yet she's stuck in the same financial cycle. One day, frustrated, she drops all the practices. She stops chasing. Instead, she just sits in silence. She breathes. She cries. She lets go. And for the first time in weeks, she feels peace. Not because her life changed, but because she stopped resisting what was. In that moment, her frequency shifts. The next day, a job offer lands in her inbox, out of nowhere. Coincidence? No. Coherence. She did less and received more because her energy finally matched the reality she'd been chasing. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. Quantum physics shows us that matter isn't fixed until observed, until the wave of possibility collapses into a particle. The energy you hold while focusing, intending, desiring, determines which reality forms. If your energy is chaotic, desperate, or doubtful, the field registers that as your true request, no matter your words or rituals. Here's the secret. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. And being isn't about faking a high vibe. It's about anchoring in truth, calm, coherence. That's what creates magnetic resonance, and reality follows resonance. This is why some manifest effortlessly while others stay stuck despite doing everything. It's not about how much they do, it's about how clear their signal is. And that signal is often clearest when you stop doing and start allowing. So the real question isn't, what else should I do? It's, what's muddying my frequency? What thoughts, actions, or beliefs keep you fighting your desired timeline? Doing less means leaving frantic action for intentional presence. It means letting go of control and trusting the unseen process of energetic alignment. And that choice, that trust, it's not passive, it's powerful. It's the most radical thing you can do in a world obsessed with force. And this is only the beginning, because next we'll explore the science and spirit behind acting from alignment, not anxiety. You'll discover how the present moment isn't just a mindset, but a portal, and how your biggest shift doesn't come from doing more, but from being more coherent. Let's pause and consider something that might be subtly shaping or distorting your reality. The intention behind your actions. Not the action itself, not the outcome it seeks, but the energy beneath it, the frequency it carries. Most people act from urgency, from scarcity, from a quiet fear that if they don't do something now, nothing will change. That pressure, though deeply human, sends a signal to the quantum field. I am not whole. I am not ready. I am not safe. And the field, perfectly neutral, reflects that back. Not to be cruel, but to be consistent. Now here's the shift. You can act now, but from alignment, not anxiety, and when you do, everything changes. In quantum mechanics, the present isn't just a step toward the future. It's the only gateway to all possibilities. Past and future aren't fixed places. They're potentials. They're only reachable through the now. Realizing this, you stop chasing distant outcomes and start tuning your energy here. Because this moment is the only one the quantum field answers to. Think about how most people try to create change. They force, they grind, they overthink, they fixate. They're either mentally ahead or emotionally stuck. Very few are truly here, right here. And yet, this is where reality forms. This is where choice exists. This is where you shape your next moment. Let's go deeper. The quantum field works like a cosmic search engine, constantly reading your inner state for a signal to match. When you act from frantic urgency, it detects chaos. When you act from calm clarity, even with less effort, the field receives a clean request. That's what creates results. Not more action, more alignment. Alignment isn't about perfection. It's about presence, about your intention, energy, and decisions being in harmony. When heart and mind align, the body settles, the nervous system balances, the signal sharpens. You become a clear channel. That's when synchronicities speed up. That's when possibilities unfold. In neuroscience, this state of internal harmony is linked to heart-brain coherence. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that when the heart's rhythm becomes steady and synchronized, the brain aligns with it, leading to greater mental clarity, emotional balance, and intuitive access. You're not just thinking better, you're becoming a clearer channel for guidance, inspiration, and aligned opportunities. Now imagine the impact of that. Imagine replacing overthinking with inner listening, replacing reactivity with responsiveness, replacing exhaustion with effortless insight. This isn't passive. This is quantum mastery. It's the foundation of real power, the kind that doesn't drain you because it moves through you rather than from you. Let's revisit the idea of doing less. It doesn't mean doing nothing. It means acting only when your system is in sync, when the thought feels clear, the body feels calm, and the decision comes from stillness, not survival. That kind of action carries a different energy. It enters the quantum field like a laser, not a scattered spray. And that's why it works. Have you ever noticed how the best ideas often come when you're not chasing them? In the shower, on a walk, in quiet moments, that's no accident. That's coherence. In those moments, your mind settles, your resistance fades, and your signal sharpens. You step out of linear time and into resonance with possibility. Here's a truth worth remembering. The universe doesn't need you to do more. It needs you to align with what you're doing. Because alignment is clarity. Clarity is power. And power, in the quantum realm, isn't force, it's frequency. So how do you know if you're in alignment or anxiety? Tune into your body. Listen to your thoughts. Watch for urgency. If your action stems from fear of what happens If you don't act, pause, recenter, wait for the shift. And when it comes, you'll know, because the next step will feel like truth, not pressure. In the next part, we'll explore the link between your thinking and your field. Why thinking clearly, not more often or more intensely, but more precisely, is more powerful than any effort. You'll see how your thoughts don't just interpret reality, they shape it. And why doing less doesn't start with action, but with intention. Ready to recalibrate how you think? Let's go. You've probably heard that your thoughts create your reality, but what that statement often misses is this. Not all thoughts are equal. Not every idea in your mind is a blueprint. Not every affirmation is a signal. And not every vision manifests. Why? Because the quantum field doesn't respond to the content of your thoughts. It responds to the coherence of your awareness. It responds to the clarity of your frequency, meaning more thinking, even with good intentions, doesn't guarantee alignment. In fact, most people think so much with so little energetic focus that they create noise instead of signal. The result? Fragmented results, inconsistent outcomes, and endless confusion. Here's the deeper truth. Your dominant frequency is set by the quality of your awareness, not the quantity of your effort. This is why the third principle of quantum shift matters so much. Think right, do much. And by right, we don't mean positive or vague. We mean accurate, resonant, true. Thoughts that come from your higher self, not your wounded self. Thoughts that emerge from the field, not from fear. Thoughts that align with your next level, not reinforce your current limits. Let's picture this. Imagine your thoughts as laser beams. Scattered thoughts, even spiritual ones, create a weak beam. They lack power. But coherent thoughts, formed in clarity, calm, and connection, become focused lasers. They cut through the noise. They imprint the field with precision. This is the kind of thought that turns possibilities into reality, not because it's louder, but because it's clearer. This is where mental effort and energetic alignment diverge. Mental effort says, let me force a better thought to override this feeling. Energetic alignment says, let me adjust this feeling so the better thought flows naturally. In the first, you're fighting your state. In the second, you're transforming it. And only one of those is truly sustainable and magnetic. Now let's add some science. Neuroscience and quantum biology show that our brain waves, heart rhythms, and electromagnetic field constantly broadcast signals. Your entire body is a transmitter. And when your thoughts, emotions, and body signals clash, the field gets a mixed message. It hesitates. Reality doesn't shift. But when your thoughts, body, and emotions all say yes, the field responds. The change becomes unstoppable. This is why rituals and affirmations fail if your baseline state isn't aligned. You can say, I am abundant 1,000 times. But if your nerves are frayed, your gut is tense, and your mind is full of doubt, your dominant frequency isn't abundance. It's survival. And the field hears that, not the words. So, what does thinking right really mean? It means spotting the hidden stories running your life on autopilot. It means breaking the mental loops rooted in fear, control, or lack. It means choosing a new perspective, not from force, but from freedom. From remembering who you truly are and the reality you're here to create. The skill is discernment. Not all thoughts are yours. Not all beliefs are true. And not all desires are soul deep. The more you notice the mental patterns that keep you chasing, doubting, or bracing, the more you reclaim your power over the field. And power is magnetism. You don't need to control every thought. That's impossible. But you do need to stabilize your dominant state. That's what radiates. That's what aligns timelines. That's what unlocks quantum doors. And that's why doing less becomes a practical, powerful form of alignment. Not an excuse for laziness, but a path to precision. Pause and take this in. Pick one thought you know is outdated. A thought like, it's not working, or I need to push harder, or I'm not there yet. Feel its effect on your body. Feel the tension it creates. Now replace it, not with a hollow positive thought, but with an honest one. I am tuning my frequency. I am shaping timelines through presence. I am being prepared for what's already mine. Feel the shift. That's coherence. That's clear signal. That's the quantum leap. Next, we'll dive deeper into the roots of your desires. Because not all desire is equal. Some comes from trauma, competition, or lack. But some, the rare, sacred kind, comes from your soul's blueprint, echoing through the field as a call to remember. You're not here to chase that desire. You're here to match its frequency, and that changes everything. Let's talk about desire, not the shallow kind. Not the kind shaped by ads, society's timelines, or others' highlight reels. Let's talk about the deep desire, the one that stays even when you ignore it, the one that keeps whispering even when you've stopped listening. That's the desire we need to understand. Because in the quantum field, not all desire is created equal. And true desire isn't just an emotional state. It's a vibrational blueprint, a message from your higher self, encoded into your being as a frequency that pulls your future into the present. This is why pushing harder often slows your manifestation. Because when you chase what you want, you tell the field you don't yet have it, that you're separate from it. And that gap, that inner sense of lack, is what the field reflects back. But when your desire is seen as a soul signal already sent, and your role becomes alignment, not pursuit, everything shifts. You stop chasing. You start attuning. Here's the key. What if your deepest desires aren't things to obtain, but frequencies to embody? The dream job, the relationship, the healing. What if they're just the outer expression of the energy you're here to inhabit? That means manifestation isn't about forcing outcomes. It's about matching the vibration that already holds them. Let's use an analogy. Think of desire like a radio station. It's already playing, but you can't hear it, feel it, or receive its message until you're on the right channel. Tuning in doesn't require building a new tower. It requires stopping the constant dial twisting, hoping to find it sooner. That's what most people do. They panic, they adjust, they jump timelines too soon. They drop the signal right before it locks in. So what's the practice? Presence, patience, clarity of intention. These aren't vague spiritual terms. They're practical steps, because the more you anchor your energy in the vibration of already having, the more the field collapses around that reality. Not because you earned it, but because you stopped resisting it. This leads to a core quantum truth. The field doesn't give you what you plead for. It gives you what you embody. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't bridged by effort. It's bridged by resonance. The more you become the version of yourself who already has, the quicker the shift unfolds. And often, it doesn't feel like struggle. It feels like clarity. Something magical happens when you stop manifesting from lack and start living your desire as destiny. You begin to move differently, think differently. You make small choices from a new perspective. You no longer ask, will this get me there? You ask, does this align with who I already am? That shift from seeking to embodying is where real quantum change happens. So how do you know if your desire is real? You'll sense it in your body, not as excitement or urgency, but as quiet certainty, a hum, a knowing. True desire doesn't shout. It whispers. It lingers. It lives in the quiet between your thoughts. And when you honor it without forcing it, it answers. Here's what many miss. The biggest leaps often come right before surrender. Why? Because letting go, when done from trust, not defeat, dissolves resistance. And resistance is the biggest barrier to alignment. When you finally stop clinging, controlling, over-planning, the energy moves, the field responds, and what you've been keeping at bay with effort finally flows in with ease. So if you're watching this and you've been pushing, striving, hustling, pause, what if you stopped for a moment and remembered? The version of you that already has what you desire isn't trying to get it. They're already living it. What would that version do today? Think today, say today. If this resonates, comment below. I already have it. Let this be your declaration, not just to the algorithm, but to the field. Because every word you speak, every vibration you choose, is an instruction to the quantum. Now in the next chapter, we'll explore a layer most overlook, the nervous system. Because no matter how aligned your thoughts or how strong your desire, if your body doesn't feel safe receiving the shift, it will block the signal. Let's rewire that together. Let's dive into something most spiritual teachings skip, but the quantum field never does. Your body. Not just your actions or posture, but your nervous system. Here's the truth. Many miss. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe accepting your desired reality, it won't let you keep it. You might visualize perfectly. You might affirm daily. You might even believe on a conscious level. But if your body is still wired for survival, your system will fight or reject the shift. This is why your reality doesn't change just because your mind understands. It changes when your body relaxes into the new frequency, and that requires nervous system alignment. Your nervous system is the bridge between your inner state and the field around you. It broadcasts whether you're open or closed, calm or reactive. That broadcast more than your words or even your thoughts is what the field reflects. Let's break it down. When you're in a sympathetic state, fight, flight, or freeze, your energy is scattered. You're not open to higher frequencies. You're not signaling safety or worthiness. You're signaling urgency, chaos, threat. And the quantum field, neutral as it is, mirrors that back, not to punish you, but because it's coherent. This is why some people never manifest what they want, no matter how much they meditate or journal. They're doing the spiritual work, but their nervous system is stuck in survival mode. They haven't recalibrated their body to receive what they're asking for. So, despite the inner work, the signal stays weak. But the solution isn't more effort, it's deeper safety. The real shift happens when your body starts trusting your new reality, when your cells believe abundance is safe, love is safe, rest is safe, when success doesn't mean losing your peace. This is why we say, do less. When your system is balanced, you don't need to force things. You naturally attract. So how do you regulate? Through breath, presence, and daily moments of grounding your body in the now. But also, and this is key, by choosing new meaning when old triggers surface. Because regulation isn't just about calming down. It's about rewriting what stress means to you. You don't have to ignore the fear. You have to reframe it. Let's say money has always felt scarce. When you try to manifest abundance, your nervous system might panic. because it doesn't link abundance with safety. It links it with pressure or loss. So even as you affirm, "I am abundant," your body tenses. That's incoherence. But if you teach your body gently and consistently that it's safe to receive, safe to hold, safe to expand, the energy shifts, and so does the timeline. This is the science of interoception, the brain's awareness of internal signals. When you breathe deeply, feel, soothe, and ground yourself, you create a feedback loop of safety, and that safety becomes your baseline. From there, manifestation becomes less about begging and more about allowing. Here's a mantra to try. My body is safe in my next timeline. Say it slowly. Let it settle, because if you don't feel safe receiving more, your system will keep you where it's familiar, even if it hurts. And familiarity is one of the strongest forces there is. So doing less isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about facing discomfort with kindness, so the resistance eases and the body stops fighting the shift. That's what makes the new timeline stick. Not just a fleeting win, but a lasting alignment. Remember, the field responds to your coherence, not your hustle. It isn't dazzled by effort, it's moved by harmony, and the most harmonious state is a calm nervous system, humming with expectation, not desperation. That's when the quantum listens. That's when it aligns. As we wrap up, let's tie it all together: alignment, intention, coherence, and body into the core truth of manifestation. You're never manifesting alone. You're in constant partnership with a living, intelligent universe. Your role isn't to carry the weight alone, but to do your part and let the quantum handle the rest. Here we are, at the edge of all we've uncovered. You've journeyed through quantum shifting, not as a performance, but as energetic integrity. You've seen that doing less isn't laziness, it's wisdom. It's coherence. It's sensing the unseen layers of reality, and knowing what I am is stronger than what I do. That's not just philosophy, it's physics. Let's piece it all together now. The quantum field doesn't react to effort alone. It reacts to alignment. The purest alignment comes when you act from presence, not panic. When your thoughts aren't scattered wishes, but clear signals. When your desires aren't chasers, but affirmations of your highest self. When your nervous system isn't clenched, but open, telling the field you're ready to receive. And here's what most miss. Quantum shifting doesn't demand more. It demands mastery of less. Less resistance, less overthinking, less forcing, less clinging. What's left is space. And in that space, the field speaks. It doesn't need convincing. It already knows. It's already answering. You've just cleared the noise. That's why breakthroughs often come in surrender. Not from abandoning the dream, but from releasing control of the path. And in that release, a deeper intelligence finally has room to work. Make this personal. Where are you pushing? Controlling? Doubting? What if today you chose stillness, trust, alignment? What if instead of "I need to do more," you said, "I'm already aligned"? What if you stopped chasing your next timeline and stepped into the version of you already living there? Because that version, the one who holds the energy, acts from peace, trusts the field, isn't in the future. It's here, beneath the noise. You don't need another method. You need presence. You need to let yourself be the frequency you've been chasing. That's the paradox of quantum manifestation. When you stop proving, you start receiving. The field responds to coherence, and coherence is who you are when you're not faking, striving, or fearing. So what now? You anchor, you choose, you relax, you hold the signal, not by doing more, but by being more. If you felt this shift, if something in you has clicked, softened, remembered, this is your call. Not to rush, but to return. To the frequency that never left. To the wisdom that always knew. And here's a subtle but powerful step. Subscribe. Not just for content, but as a commitment. This isn't just a channel, it's a vibration. Every time you return, you're not just watching, you're tuning in. We're building something here. A movement of aligned creators who know quantum reality isn't out there. It's here. And when you shift within, the whole field shifts with you. So don't do more, be more. Let the field sense your energy. Let the quantum answer. And above all, trust the intelligence woven through all things. It doesn't just respond to your actions, it responds to who you are.